Hello and welcome. I'm Sean Wendt. I'm your host here at the Went There Cruising channel. Today's news day for Thursday, July the 10th, 2025. So first, let's start with an update on some stories from earlier in the week. First, there was the kerfluffle or outrage over the $11 pool noodle from Carnival Cruise Line for the upcoming Celebration Key premiering on July the 19th. Well, earlier this week on Tuesday, John Heald, the brand ambassador for Carnival Cruise Line, announced on his page that, in fact, you can bring your own pool noodle to Celebration Key. So apparently they are not going to enforce the no floatables rule, and you can bring your own pool noodle, thus saving yourself $11 in the process. So I guess that's positive. The other big story from the other day was the one from Norwegian Cruise Line, where they canceled the 40 cruises between the Norwegian Breakaway and the Norwegian Prima. The Breakaway was scheduled to sail out of Puerto Rico, and the Prima was scheduled to sail out of New Orleans between November 2026 and March of 2027. Well, now Norwegian has announced that all they're doing is essentially swapping those itineraries. So the Breakaway is going to move to New Orleans and handle the itineraries scheduled previously for the Prima, and the Prima is going to move to Puerto Rico and sail the itineraries previously scheduled for the Breakaway. The Breakaway has a slightly larger capacity, roughly 900 guests more than the Prima, and so I guess they felt they needed that additional capacity on the New Orleans routes, and so that's why they're doing the swap of the ships. Because the ships are different, though, they can't simply swap itineraries and just put your reservation over to the other ship. They have to actually cancel them and force people to rebook. And again, they are offering some compensation for that. There was a 10% future cruise credit for that. So you do get that out of it. Makes it a little bit cheaper and really very little inconvenience, being that it was this far out and you can sail the exact same itinerary that was scheduled previously. A new story this week involves another ship losing power. This one was not a Royal Caribbean ship like the other day's story. This one is actually out of Celebrity. So the Celebrity Infinity left port in Athens last Saturday, and on Sunday was able to go to Santorini, and on Monday they made it to Kusadasi, Turkey. However, while in port there in Turkey, there was an engine fire resulting in some loss of power. And initially they knew they were going to be there overnight, but they've since extended it. Today is Thursday. That ship is still in Turkey. It is scheduled now to leave Turkey tomorrow on Friday and return to Athens for Saturday. And at least at this point is scheduled to sail its normal itinerary next week out of Athens. So I'm assuming that the repairs are being made between now and then. What they've offered for the people on board is a 50% refund in the form of a cruise onboard credit for the people that are there, but it is a refundable onboard credit. So they're immediately giving you half of your cruise fare back as an onboard credit, and then whatever you don't spend, they're going to give back to you in cash. And then beyond that, a 50% future cruise credit for some future sailing. So if you come back for some sailing in the future, they'll give you a 50% credit on that. So that's decent compensation, but if you've been 4 days in Turkey and you had planned to sail other places in the Mediterranean, maybe not what you had planned for your vacation. I did see that they were offering some complimentary tours there in Kusadasi, so I guess they're basically some free excursions while they were there. But yeah, clearly some people's plans have been significantly impacted there. I can't say as I would have any confidence in this upcoming Saturday sailing. That would make me quite nervous. I know last year when I was scheduled to go on the Regal Princess in November, it was late November and they had canceled 3 sailings prior to that. I was concerned that whether or not my cruise was going to go. Now it did go forward, it all worked out okay, so I guess that's great, but not a lot of peace of mind necessarily for the folks on the upcoming cruise. I'm not even sure I'd have peace of mind that we're going to get home for this Saturday if I was on the ship today. Very unsettling, but I guess in the grand scheme of things, better to be stuck in port than stuck out in the open ocean. So I'll take that. But what do you think? 50% cruise credit, is that fair compensation for being stuck in Turkey all week? I'm not sure exactly what's been open on board. It does sound like they've had some limitations on board as a result of loss of power. So I'm not sure it's even the full experience on board. That would make a difference for me, but at least some compensation for it. And again, at least they're not stuck on the open ocean. The big story for today is a big story in that it is the largest cruise ship in the world is now in the possession of Royal Caribbean. Yes, the Star of the Seas, which has its inaugural cruise coming up in a few weeks. But as of today, Royal Caribbean has taken possession of the ship. So it is now, I guess, officially the largest cruise ship in the world, and that the keys have been handed over to its new owner. So welcome to the cruising world, Star of the Seas. That's big news. And I'm sure a lot of people are really excited that it will go off on its inaugural cruise in a couple of weeks. And I'd be excited to be there. So big news. Congratulations to Royal Caribbean. You once again hold the title for the largest cruise ship in the world. Well, that's the news for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching the video. If you found it useful, please like the video. If you enjoy cruise content, please subscribe to the video. We'd love to be your source for cruise content. Thank you again. And until we see you next time, we wish you smooth sailing. Take care.